and there was a little bit of a real estate focus in that presentation. I shared this slide, find it very interesting. So what these, I'm going to go over each of these charts and then just kind of give you some of my thoughts on these. So this first side of the chart, this is looking at home price growth by city, breaking it down, all the major metros, and then on average. So over the last year, home prices increasing by, on average, 6% per year. And obviously you can see there's a little bit of a, a range based on, what metro you happen to be looking to buy in. Now, this chart here on the top right looks at home affordability. So this is taking into account not just the rise in home prices, but also how expensive it is to borrow, so the rate of interest rates, and then also take into account, wage growth, right? So if prices have gone up, but incomes have gone up faster or higher relative to prices, then you might say that homes are more affordable. So this here is taking into account all of those factors, and so you can see that. Generally, as this line is higher, that indicates a period of time when home prices are more affordable, and when it's lower, that indicates a time when it is less affordable. So simply put, right now, you see this is pretty low in terms of affordability. We're at a similar place that we were maybe back in the 80s, and those of you who were in the market buying houses at that time, you probably remember things like interest rates to buy a home in the double digits, 12, 13, 14, 15% for a mortgage. And so kind of from an affordability standpoint, that's where we're at. Interesting though, if we look at your typical borrower, somebody getting a mortgage right now, the median credit score for that borrower is above the long run average over the last, let's call it 25 years. So homes are less affordable than they ever have been, almost, and but still, your typical borrower is in pretty good shape relative to history. So, with all this in mind, I think kind of follow-up questions might be, okay, so what does this mean for home prices or the housing market, that sort of thing? Can we derive anything from this? And I don't know that we necessarily can. I think it's kind of interesting. This next chart. This next page goes over some more information, and so I do have maybe some thoughts that we can, some thoughts about the real estate market based off of both of these slides. So this first one, we're looking at housing inventories in the United States, and the simple way to look at this chart is if the line is lower, there's less houses available to buy at any given time. If the number is higher, there's more houses to buy. So if we look here, kind of looking at during the financial crisis. Home inventories, there were a lot of homes for sale, right? And it was pretty easy to find a home. Now we look at this, and going back all the way to 1982, these are the lowest inventory levels that we've seen over that period of time. If we look at new housing starts, so on average, going back to 1959, you've got, this line represents the average amount of homes that are being built by home builders. And you can see that there's kind of two parts of this chart I want to look at. Well, first of all, you can see there's kind of this general theme of an up and a down, up and a down, up and a down, but then a very dramatic up leading up to 07, 08 of lots of homes being built, and then a very dramatic next period of time of, from basically 07 through maybe 2019-ish, 2020 of new home starts being below the long run average. And so what I think that it's not a coincidence, or it's not by accident that these two charts are on the same, that these are being shown together. So as less homes have been, as less homes have been built kind of below the long run average for such a long period of time. If you look at all these other periods of time, these are, a couple years at a time of being above or below the long run average. And this is just such a drastic period of time of underbuilding, you might say. And I think that this underbuilding here has a direct impact on the situation we find ourselves in, which is having very low inventories. So with these two charts in mind, I think if we look back at the previous chart and think about, let's go this way. We think about home affordability and what we can expect from the real estate market going forward. Even though homes aren't that affordable, it doesn't seem to me that it's very realistic to be planning on, home prices just crashing through the floor like they did back in 08 and 09, and simply because there are not enough homes on the market for for the amount that we need. And you can't just flip a switch and and make homes appear. The Federal Reserve, they can flip a switch and send everybody money, but you can't do that and just make homes appear ready to move in. And so even if building, like it shows in the last chart, has accelerated and gotten back up above that long run average, it's going to take a long time before there's enough excess supply in the market to hopefully have a positive impact on the market by lowering home prices.